I gotta say, the closer we get to Dawn of Ragnarok, the more excited I get to play this new Valhalla content. Now, as said many times before, I think it's good to keep your expectations low, especially after the year 1 season pass content that did not really deliver. That way, I hope this bigger DLC will surprise us. And now, in these last few weeks, I see reasons to be more optimistic thanks to the new update they released and some leaks revealing items we can earn in Svartalfheim. Because in the Valhalla main game, the wealth system was a cool idea. Every gear chest would give you a new armor piece or weapon you did not have yet, so exploration was more rewarding. But the problem turned out to be that the perks on these items were not that exciting. Like heavy damage after a heavy finisher, or increases to critical damage when surrounded by more than 3 enemies. Like, this was even before we knew that critical damage is basically useless in this game. The Wrath of the Druids DLC continued this trend with more boring and bad armor stats and the worst shield in the game ever, behind a pretty time-consuming grind where you had to find multiple artifacts to open a chest. Siege of Paris luckily already improved on this with especially impactful perks on most of the scythe weapons, and it seems like Dawn of Ragnarok will have more of these interesting perks on new items. We namely have a hammer that can stagger enemies in an area on a special attack, and you by the way see the item cards here from GamerLLil Games, and AndyReloads already had some footage, and of course a link to their channels will be in the video description. And they also showcased most of the Dawn of Ragnarok items already. So I have to try this out, of course, but it is at least an interesting perk. There's a Dane Axe that restores 7.5% health per kill, which can totally be nice. If you like the left-hand attack of the dagger, where you can of course continuously stab an enemy without them able to do anything back, well, there is a new dagger in this DLC that consumes less stamina while doing this attack, so you can keep the combo going for longer. So it really seems that most of these items have a pretty cool impact on the gameplay, way more so than previous items they added. We of course also have a brand new weapon type in this expansion, the Edgear, and while it's still kinda sad that the finishing animations are the same as that of the Greatsword, the 4 different Edgear weapons we can find do have some interesting perks. Like, one has its weapon be on fire when surrounded by more than 3 enemies, which is actually useful and might be nice in the arena where you're battling a lot of enemies at the same time. Or this Mooseful Spark has a 40% chance to set enemies on fire with heavy hits. But also interesting is that they changed leaked perks for 1 armor to make them a bit more interesting. So, want to look at that, and also brand new skills they already added to the game. Of course, if you like the Valhalla content here on the channel, then leaving a like on the video costs 1 second of your time would really be amazing. And subscribe if you haven't already, because I got way more Dawn of Ragnarok content coming your way. A few months ago, AndyReloads leaked the stats of many of the armor pieces for Dawn of Ragnarok, and most are still true. We got the Jotnar armor, giving extra armor when using an ability, the Fire Giant armor, increasing melee damage when your weapon is on fire, and the Dwarven armor, increasing armor when stunning an enemy. You can, by the way, find pieces of the Dwarven armor in Wealth Chest, and yeah, you have to use the Odin powers now to kind of solve the puzzle to find the key to open the chest, so that's a cool twist now as well. I agree though, the perks on these armor sets not that interesting, but I do like the fact that these perks are the first set bonus, so we can mix and match 2 pieces of one set with 2 pieces of the other to have both benefits, because the increases when wearing the full set are not that exciting. So all these leaks turn out to be true, and in that same leak we had the stats for the Odin Allfather set, which we can by the way get during the arena. It namely noted that we would get increases to assassination damage when cloaked and undetected, which is basically nothing, as you can easily assassinate every enemy anyways. But now, the actual stats leaked that will likely be in the DLC, again by Andy, we namely see that it has a 50% chance to increase adrenaline gain on a headshot or a weak point hit, which could be really nice in combination with a brand new bow we can find in the DLC, which gives you 1 adrenaline bar on a fully charged headshot. So you can spam your abilities way more often. And again, you can just use 2 pieces of this Odin Allfather set with other pieces and make a cool combination. And I'm also curious if you can combine it with the brand new skills they added Most of them are pretty insane, including Cunning Shots, which you find in the wolf section. It gives you a huge benefit to using the special R1 or right button attacks with your bow by giving you a ton of adrenaline back when you hit an enemy. I never really used these alternative shots that you of course have to unlock in the skill tree first, but now you got a really good incentive to do so. Like sure, the fastest way to get adrenaline back now is by using this special attack with the light bow, while the special shot from the hunter bow is of course overall the best one you can use in terms of damage, but it takes a bit longer to pull off. And it's also amazing with the predator bow guided arrow, of course mostly nice during stealth, but yeah, you can very quickly follow up these shots to get all your bars back in no time. So while the items I mentioned before are exclusive to Dawn of Ragnarok, you can already use these skills in the game right now. Of course, if you lack any skill points, you can just reset some random skill points and immediately use these skills like they're available to everyone for free. I really think they're the best new skills we ever had, not only because they're really good, like Combat Dive makes you immune to all damage while performing a dodge roll, so holding the dodge button, really nice against the Firekeeper enemies, which are of course way more common in Francia, and maybe it will come in handy during the many boss fights in Svartalfheim, because I tried it against Steinbjorn and was very easily able to ignore the damage on his AoE attacks. In the warrior section we got Heal on Kill, where when you're low health and have no rations left, you get a decent chunk of health back on a kill, so just a nice passive bonus to keep you in the fight, and it pushes you to be a bit more aggressive when you're low health and have no options to heal yourself. Now the other skills are interesting because they trigger when your offhand is free. This is likely to entice us to only use one weapon in the main hand instead of using a two-handed weapon or the dual wield system, and well, the benefits are really great. With single hand defense when full health and with your offhand free, the first successful enemy attack deals no damage to you and knocks them back instead, which is a nice way to start the encounter, and it's pretty noticeable as well. Now the next one is crazy. Within seconds of an ability ending with your offhand free, using another ability from the opposite ability wheel will not cost any adrenaline. So anytime when you use a melee ability, you will see that the ranged abilities will flash and they can just pick one to use for free. I mostly think this will be nice in combination with the new Dawn of Ragnarok abilities. I already went over them in my previous video. I will link to that at the end of this one. And yeah, also when using a ranged ability, you will get a free melee ability if you activate it in a decently long window. This completely changes how you think about abilities. I really love it. And again, I think it might be more useful when we get the new ones we can earn in Dawn of Ragnarok. The third and final new skill that triggers when your offhand is free is that after a successful parry, you get a free critical hit when you hit an enemy. So if you have that mod that puts fire on your blade on a crit, you will almost always see fire on your weapon when hitting an enemy after a parry. It's kind of weird though that they're making this offhand weapon free playstyle more interesting when the new weapon type they will be adding with the DLC is a two-handed weapon, so then these skills don't work. Still though, I'm going to rock a one-handed weapon way more often now because of these unique benefits thanks to these perks. So I can't wait to try this out even more. It really seems that Valhalla is finally, after more than a year, in a spot where we can tweak our playstyle and notice the impact on the gameplay. So that part has me excited going into Dawn of Ragnarok. Now, I don't know about the rest of the DLC. I really hope it will be of high quality. We will have to wait and see for that, but it does make me more hopeful for sure. When I know more about Dawn of Ragnarok and when I'm able to share more, I will of course tell you here. So totally subscribe if you haven't already. A like on the video would really be awesome, and check out that most recent video on the DLC going over new gameplay, features and abilities. For now though, I will speak to you next time and goodbye.